welcome to an ETTO spoilercast on Doctor Who, The Church on Ruby Road. I almost said Ruby's Road, but it's just Ruby Road, I think.
Yeah, I think it's just Ruby Road.
Okay, I'm just Will.
And I'm just Sam.
The EP edition. Welcome. We've watched the episode. You've watched it twice.
I did. I watched it twice only because I knew that you weren't incredibly warm on it. So I was like, I want to watch it again and see where I can see the problems.
Well, or you can tell me I'm wrong and you can be certain.
Well, I think watching it back, because I watched it the first time with my partner and then the second time was just on my own because I really like to watch things on my own so I can just pay full attention.
Yeah.
And had the headset on. It was great. I don't know. I think I was able to follow it a little bit better the second time around, and I think I was able to hear the dialogue a lot more clearer, so I understood a little bit more of what was happening.
The audio mixing, man, they gotta sort that shit.
Yeah, but even on the headphones, the dialogue's clearer, but the music is a lot more faint in certain areas, and sometimes there's areas where the dialogue is still faint, but the music's really high. Like I think it's just the mixing as a whole was a bit off for this.
I think it's a Disney Plus issue because I think a lot.
Maybe
I feel it with the Mandalorian and stuff like that. Sometimes dialogue feels like it's mixed a bit low. What an exciting way to start this podcast.
Well, look, to start, I will say I did very much enjoy it. It's gotten me a lot more excited for his run as the Doctor. I'm very, very excited. But Let's see what you think, William.
I'm like so fucking in for him. He's so good.
Yeah, cool.
My problems entirely lie with the episode and with Russell T Davies. I'm gonna outright say it. I want him fucking gone. I'm so tired of him already.
Can you cut this back to a clip from us like a year ago? We're so excited.
I just think he can't write anymore. At least he can't write Who. I haven't watched anything he's made since like End of Time, but I don't think he can write Doctor Who. Maybe he couldn't then, but I enjoyed it differently. But I just don't know what the plot of any of your stories are. These 4 stories just feel like 6 ideas kind of jammed into one, and it just moves at the fucking speed of a bullet train. And I'm not in the episode ever. I kind of touched on it in the specials when I was like, there's lots of good moments, and I like more moments in this than the other, but I don't think there's an actual story. And in this episode, for me, I just felt like he kept adding new ingredients, and I was like, I was there already. Where are you going? Like, let me rest here. And I just got so fucking lost in this one, and it made me sad because I think Shooty is perfect, and we'll talk about it for the rest of this podcast because holy shit. And I'm excited for Millie as Ruby, but I'm cautious that she's kind of erring on the side of Clara and Rose, my 2 least favorite companions. So I'm cautious about kind of the energy she's bringing, but I think performance-wise, she's great. I just might not meld with the character quite there. But that's my biggest thing is I just feel like it's a spoiler podcast. When he was like, goblins that feast on coincidences, I'm like, sick. That's fucking cool. And they time travel. What do you mean why do they time travel? Why are we doing that? And then it just was just this knock-on effect of like, oh, we're moving away from the cool thing, which was like this fantasy thing of they feed on coincidences and eat babies and stuff like that. And then it just seeped back into being like standard Doctor Who, they can time travel, so let's fix it with time travel. And I was like, oh man, we were in a cool mystical world, and it just felt messy the longer the episode went on. But that's kind of how I felt with this.
Yeah, cool. No, I mean, I definitely can agree with like the writing aspect. Like, I do think that the Star Beast and this episode were probably the most coherent in.
For sure.
Like for me, in the sense of like, I could see a story. I feel like episodes 2 and 3 of the anniversary specials were very much that of like cool moments, but you don't really know what is going on. Like just stuff happening, really. Especially, I would say more so, especially for part 3. I'm forgetting the title. The Giggle. That's it.
Totally.
Didn't giggle that much. But I feel like that one, especially for me, was the one where I was kind of like, there's cool moments happening, but like, what's the like end goal? Like, what's the like, what is the leg that we're on here? Like, what's happening? I think yeah, I don't know. For me, I found I actually enjoyed the plot of this one. I thought it was really interesting. I definitely loved the fact that the goblins did feast on things happening of pure coincidence. I thought I thought that was sick. I was like, oh, that's really cool. And it's because you see the goblins just causing mayhem throughout the first 20 minutes of the episode, and it's what are they doing? And then you realize it's that they're also paving the way for things to happen, which is really cool. I didn't mind the time traveling aspect. Of course it would have been good if there was a bit more reasoning behind it as to why or how, because I feel that's maybe Russell's biggest flaw, is that he doesn't explain he kind of just expects the audience to be as smart as he is in terms of how he understands things and how he views things. But I enjoyed it because I always love it when a villain or a monster or something can time travel in a way, because I think it makes things more interesting for the Doctor in terms of how he solves things. I think it can sometimes make things be really interesting, or it can just make things really confusing. When I watched it the first time and Ruby just vanished, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, where's she gone? But then, he explains very quickly, but it's a very jarring moment of what's going on here, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I think, I'm sure it works better on a second run, but I'm sure that applies to everything. And I wish that I enjoyed it the first time, and that's kind of, but I like the thing I did like. Let's just talk about Shooty. I liked that he seemingly and hopefully is going to be an inventor Doctor, with the gloves that can kind of change gravity.
That was sick.
And so Doctor Who, and just being normal gloves with some LED strips underneath. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like Jodie was set up to be an inventor Doctor when she made her own Sonic and stuff, and then just never did that again.
Totally.
So I hope he has gadgets. I hope that's one of his shticks.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
He just has the thing for this. Rather than relying on the Sonic, I think the Sonic flipped out a few too many times in this, of just why are you just turning it on? Why is it just on? I'm hearing the sound, but why are you just waggling it around, man? Which was fine. It was the first appearance, so they kind of showed it off,
of course,
but
I'm waiting for that to be a toy. Come on, man. There's going to be so much merch.
It's evil how quickly it sold. I was kind of as soon as he used it, I'm like, oh yeah. Because I remember the trailers and stuff for it, I was like, that's weird that it's a DVD remote, but something about the way that he holds it and he's so confident with it, I'm like, sure, man.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. No, I thought he was phenomenal given his first run. And I'll say, all your points about not liking the episode are very valid, because I feel for anything with movies, TV shows, music, whatever, it's if that's someone's opinion after their first viewing of it, it's then that's what you've sort of made it out to be for them, you know? It's so 100% valid. But I thought that he was really, really good. There were so many moments where I was just oh yeah, you're that Time Lord, man. I was like, this is sick. When he's walking out of the nightclub and Ruby's gotten into the cab with her friends and the snowman's falling, you see that look of just drive in his face, and he starts walking towards it and puts out the Sonic to get I was like, that's sick. I'm like, that's it's such a minimal moment, but just the expression on his face and just that drive to fix something. I was like, this is great.
And just the chaos of it. It fixes it, and the woman whistles, and he's like, for fuck's sake. It's it's amazing. And
he's a prime at midnight.
And it's full of presents. What, I'm knocking Russell in a plot sense. He's great at writing moments, and I think he's written a great new Doctor and everything. I just think structurally he's not quite there with these episodes. For sure. But also, and I want to keep talking about that scene, but also I think I'm still excited for the series to come, because the specials are built in a way where it is just moments. It's an hour long of just things. So maybe when we get settled into a series, all those problems will go away and it'll be a bit more focused. But I'm not sold on Russell yet, and that's my sad thing. But that scene is really cool, and I'm sure you may have seen the tweets about it, that this was a reshoot by Disney. Basically.
Oh, right. So I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that whole sequence from Snowman to End was shot in October this year.
Wow.
It was shot
because I remember I'd seen photos on X, Twitter, whatever.
It's Twitter.
Yeah, it's Twitter. Like them filming that scene in the streets. But yeah, I didn't know that was like a call from Disney to be like, add this in.
Test screenings of the episode, and their one point to Russell was like, it feels like we don't see the Doctor soon enough. Which is why, because kind of pre-titles he's there, and then in the original flow of it, he wouldn't rock up until the rooftop when he's running across the top.
That's
roof.
very true, yeah.
That would have been his first appearance. So the insert shot of him in the bar with the costume that he got revealed in, maybe that's the only time we'll ever see that costume. That insert and that whole sequence were kind of Disney notes of like, put that in. And I'm like, that sequence, the snowman, is my favourite part of the episode.
It's amazing. It's great.
His dialogue with the police officer. Yeah. Like, he is, like, they sell him on being the Doctor so quickly in that whole sequence.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love... Yeah, I want more of those little quiet moments with the Doctor, because they're very sweet. And I like that, like, it's interesting because how close this almost mirrors Rose in terms of the setup of Ruby, like the kind of her normal life, the Doctor just kind of intersecting and everything like that. Yeah, I think that it could have been halved. It feels like we took a little bit to get to it and nothing really happened. I enjoyed the idea of the goblins interfering, but it felt like a lot of like the same gag of they knocked something or she bumped something or she did that, and I'm like, I get it. Let's get the wheels actually rolling. But I just felt like pacing wise, it was a bit of a slow burn to get to them intersecting, and that's why I'm glad that Disney did go, you need that scene, because I'm like that kind of lifted the plot along.
Totally. Yeah, cool.
How do you feel with Ruby?
No, I mean, I loved her. Like, I've never really had an issue with, like, Rose or Clara. So it's like, if anything, I think Ruby had a bit more of a personality around her. Which was great. Because it was a thing. Because what made me think about it was when I was watching it with my partner, she was like, there was a moment where they're in the flat, and I didn't notice it the second time around. So it must have just been, like, her, like, not hearing it properly. But she thought he said that he was with Rose. And I was like, oh, that would be interesting if, like, he's just, like, all of a sudden just, like, confuse her for Rose because she's another, like, a young blonde. Yeah. But then I was like, I doubt it. But then that just sort of got me thinking, like, comparing her to Rose. And I just feel like she's got more personality and she's more sure of herself than what Rose was, I think. I think Rose was kind of just, like, floating around, kind of doing whatever he would ask of her, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like Ruby is going to be a very strong character who's very sure of herself, very sure of what she's doing and what she wants to do. And I think that Millie is just, like this is the first thing this is the first thing I've seen her in. Yeah. But, like, given how young she is, like, she's 18 years old. Yeah. And it's like she's phenomenal. And both of them together on screen is just so much fun. Totally.
They're going to be the best pairing. As much as I'm not sure of a character, I think, like, energy-wise, they're just going to be... Yeah, they're going to be what I think a lot of people saw in 12 and Clara. Like, that kind of dynamic, I think, is, like, so on show, and so I'm keen. Yeah, no, she's awesome. Look, my biggest fear is that Russell is going to make all this era about music, and it frightens me to death. Because
I will say, though, I had the best time when they started singing.
That saved it. Yeah. That saved it massively. Because...
But even prior to that, when it's just like the goblins singing, I couldn't stop laughing. I find them to be so funny looking. And I was like, because I was curious, I was like, I wonder how they've made the goblins. And then I realised they've literally put full-size adults in suits and then just CGI'd them down. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, that is so good.
It's very cool visually.
Oh, it's so cool. Like when they're on the roof and it's the first time you fully see them, they've got the baby and they're hoisting it up and it hisses at Ruby. He's like, do you hiss at me? It's like, when it turns around and hisses, it's like, that's a real fucking thing.
Like, totally.
Holy shit. Yeah. But when, like, that whole sequence of them in the ship, like, and he's trying to learn how to talk rope was all very funny. And, like, look, I think... Because I do enjoy movies where there's a bit of a musical aspect. I think this was fun as, like, a one-timer. I don't think it should be...
Well, we've got a Beatles episode. They're going to be singing all the way through that fucking thing.
Surely you're excited for that, though.
Not in the slightest.
Really?
It looks awful. We'll talk about it later.
Cool. Yeah, cool.
But yeah, totally. I almost wish we didn't know about the singing so that it was a bigger shock and maybe that would have sold the moment more, I think.
Yeah.
Knowing as soon as they got into the crawl space, I was like, here we go. And like, I felt the energy, I watched it with mum and dad, I felt the energy in the room the longer the song went on. It was like, gotta wrap this up.
So what's happening here? See, it was funny because like, obviously like, because like I knew about them singing, but I didn't know about Shooty and Millie singing.
No, yeah, totally.
Yeah, so that to me was like, I was like, oh, that's fun.
That was awesome, yeah.
Yeah, and then I found out that like they didn't even like do their vocals prior.
Yeah.
It was like they just filmed it in time on the day, and I was like, okay,
that's some lame shit.
Like, Shooty cannot fucking look that good, act that good, and sing that good all in, like, that's just not fair.
It's unfair. It's unfair. Yeah, no, I loved when they sung it. That lifted that whole idea to me, because I loved them. I loved him being full of confidence and Ruby just stumbling through and being like, it kind of rhymes.
Well, I guess so.
Very fun. That is an aspect I've seen a lot of people talk about. Shooty's Doctor is, I think Dump Days in our Discord mentioned he's very confident, and it's kind of a confidence we've never seen in the Doctor before.
Yes.
Even just showing him on the dance floor dancing was like, wow, okay, that's new.
Yeah.
And I know, I think Gus at work was talking about it. He wasn't very sure about how confident he was. I just don't get that complaint, because I'm like, this is a new Doctor, so why wouldn't they be different? Like, I understand that the Doctor hasn't been this way before, but maybe that's the problem. Maybe, the Doctor always being awkward, it's strange, because he's had different faces and different personalities.
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't he be confident this time, especially if he's coming out of the bi-generation?
I was about to say, like, we have just gotten out of an era of Doctor Who where he was dealing with so much trauma, and now that he's kind of moved himself away from that, it's expected he's going to be feeling a bit better, having more fun. I think for me, like, the scene in the club was just very jarring, because it's not your typical scene or environment to see him in. So I think it's just about because I don't necessarily not like it. It's just about getting used to that change of how he's going to be 100%. Going forward.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's not a wrong complaint. It's totally a jarring change.
Yeah. It's just because at first I was like, when have we ever seen the Doctor just in the TARDIS on a Friday night going, let's go to the local club,
let's go for a rave,
and just dance the night away.
Look, it took me a second as well. Like, I'm definitely not knocking it. I think that the selling point was when he pulled out the psychic paper, because up until we'd had the kind of prologue of what happens at the end of the episode, but up until that point I was like, this is not very Doctor Who, but as soon as that flipped out, I was like, all right, we're back.
I think the song choice as well was wrong for the style of dancing he was doing. Yeah. Like, there was a portion of it where it kind of matched, but like, that guy was going fucking nuts. I know. And it's this very like monotone, like chill sort of song at times. So I think that's what made it a bit jarring for me as well, was that like I didn't really think the music matched up with like the vibe of that club at the time. Yeah, totally. And how he was dancing. But yeah, it was a enjoyable but like just odd scene in a good way to watch. Yeah.
We also got a Mavity reference. He said Mavity.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about it going forward. Yeah, because okay, I get it's a gag, but it's like, surely at some point, even he was like, maybe I should just go back and fix that.
Well, the thing is that Tennant says gravity. He said gravity, and Donna was confused by it.
Yes, that's right.
So it was a weird step back to be like, unless it's the bi-generation thing, he exists in the present, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, weird that he's also forgotten how to say gravity. Yeah. Yeah. The only save for me, because I don't want to hear it every episode, and I fear that Russell's going to do it every episode somehow. The only save will be if it's a story point to be like, you're different. Like, the Doctor is like, I've caught you out, you just said gravity, that's weird. Like,
okay, that'd be cool.
I'm fine if it's the bad wolf of this, the run of like, totally. The weird word that keeps popping up and then it twists. Like, that's the only way, because otherwise I was like, all right. It's run its course.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I did see someone say it would be fun if right at the end, when Shooty regenerates, or when Russell leaves, whichever Doctor, the last thing they do, they go to regenerate and they're like, wait a second, and then go back to him and be like, it's gravity, by the way, and then just regenerate as a final Russell getting rid of his gag at the end of his run. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
That'd be cute. The family dynamic with Ruby was really cool. I thought the best version of that Russell's written as well. I thought it was really sweet. Yeah. And as much as I despise the Timeless Child, it's giving so many great moments in this show. Like, I know, sucks.
I'm so, like, just torn by it because I really was not a fan of how they just, like, added that into the lore of the show and the history of Doctor Who. And I think it wasn't even like a minor thing. It was like, no, you're changing the way we think about this character
now. Yeah.
And like, I mean, I was under the impression they were just kind of like never even
it'd be gone
again and just ignore it. I guess they're not, because like we got the mention of the flux during the like a couple times during the anniversary specials.
Yep.
And now obviously the mention of him being a
adopted and
as well. Yeah. So it's weird. Like, I mean, look, if they mention it every now and then, like, great. I don't like the idea that that's a possible like story beat they can go back to like add on to.
I think
like, I don't want. I really don't want them to go backwards on that and like try to figure that out again and like just leave it in the past, please.
Russell's kind of taking it like he did with the Time War of like it's this thing that happened in the past and it is an element of the character now, but we don't actually go there. We don't
actually go there.
I mean, Tennant fucking dwelled on it, but Christopher Eccleston, at least, it was just a line and it was a thing. And and I think in the case of this, it's very like Russell has taken it as a great connection between Ruby and the Doctor to both be foundlings and both be adopted. Not the only character. Also, Mel he made that a point in the 60th for her to also be kind of an orphan and stuff like that.
That's right. Yeah.
So, you know, and she's coming back. Like, it's definitely an arc that he wants to take the characters on, and I think cool. And I just thought, like, before he even said it, I liked that he looked at the photos of all the orphans and had a moment. I was like, that's really sweet. I think Russell does a little hammering home of a lot of things in this episode. Like, he looks at them. There's a very sweet moment. Clearly the Doctor's registered it. And then she goes, that's all the kids I adopted. They're all the kids I adopted. And then sometimes I talk to them. I'm like, yeah, I fucking know, Russell. I worked it out.
We know. Yeah, it's okay.
We know, man. There's a few moments of that as well that I'm like, dude, your audience aren't dumb. We know what's happening.
Well, because I think Ruby even says to him when he notices the photos on the fridge, Ruby says to him what they are. And then the mum comes in and then she says what they are.
Yeah.
And I was just like, we know.
We know, Russell. We got it, buddy.
Yeah, it's okay. We got it. I do think, though, it was very, like... I think the scariest thing in the episode, more than the actual, like... Goblins. Evil little shit goblins, was when the timeline had changed and the mum had turned to this very nurturing mother who loves to foster kids to being this like very just like deadbeat parent who only does it when she needs it for
money.
Basically like so because she said it was like a few $100 when she so she was like I only put my name down when I need the extra cash because you get like that much per baby and you see how much that also affects him being like, not that he would have experienced that when he was a kid, but it's like,
well, I think he does though. That's another Timeless Child thing. Like, he got stolen to be used for regeneration. Like, it's kind of a link in that of like Tecteun or whatever.
Yeah, I get that.
Kind of like even there, Russell's pulling on that thread and being like, he can see that there.
Piss off, Russell. No.
Leave it alone, Russell.
No, because like for me, it was a thing where I think because we've always just seen the Doctor like be very like he notices when things are wrong, when things are right. And I think it was just the thing of it like being so wrong that he was like, don't say that. Like,
totally.
Just shut up. Like, don't say that. So like that was cool. But I think that was more terrifying than anything. I was like, damn.
Like that.
Like I was like, that's rough.
That was both when the episode for me kicked into gear and I'm like, okay, all right, this is, I like this.
This is real.
And also when my internet stopped working and it was like a word per minute and we were like, what the fuck? Why now?
Yeah. Cool.
But no, that was cool. There's also a great line on the audio commentary, Russell, when the crack goes, he goes, oh, there's Matt Smith's crack.
Bring that back, sure. I'm happy for that.
Look, Doctor Who fans, we're so lame. As soon as we see a fucking crack, we're like, oh! It's like, it's just a crack. It's just a crack, man. Although it is, I guess it's kind of a reference. Crack in the skin of the universe.
A little bit.
No, that was a cool sequence. And the kind of color grade shifted and it was all very monotone.
Yes. And, it was a bit darker as well. And yeah.
That was cool. And,
Interesting.
Like, for all my problems with this episode, I think this is it's a very different episode. I think it and the 11th Hour sit next to each other, because the 11th Hour is a good post-regen, frantic, what am I doing kind of episode. Yeah. But this, I think, sits above, like, Deep Breath, Rose, all the other ones, in just, like, how confident... And we got to see every side of his Doctor in an hour, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Like, even though we were told this was the Doctor without... any baggage and stuff, the fact that we got him crying and we got him feeling emotional, I was like, cool, okay, that's not removed from the character.
I think it was cool as well for me, because like I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, like, how does this compare to like the first episodes like of other series, or like just like a special in general? And I think in a way it's a better episode to show people
100%.
who aren't fans of Doctor Who more than the 11th Hour, because I think you haven't got the aspect of the regen, you haven't got the aspect of like all that sort of chaos. It's like you see the characters from the start, you see how they behave, you get all the elements of monsters and time travel and blah blah blah, and you know there's a person at the end that gets invited into the TARDIS and they go off on their adventure. Like I think as much as the 11th Hour is a great episode, and like for us it's amazing, I think if you're genuinely someone who has not watched this show, I think like you're going to see Matt Smith throwing up yellow air energy and be like, what the fuck is going, like, what's that about? And like while they do kind of explain it, it's like you still have many questions about like, well, what is regen? Like why did he regen? What happened before this episode? Like,
I think it's almost,
you know?
it depends on what you want someone to experience, I guess. Like this is the perfect jumping on point, and don't watch anything else. I guess 11th Hour for me is still the perfect, you want to watch Doctor Who in its entirety. It's like, because you do get the regen, you get all those aspects and stuff, but like, this weirdly still being labeled Special 4 on Disney Plus, which is so stupid. Like, it should just be called Episode 1 and call your next season. Because if it was Episode 1, then you go 8 episodes and a Christmas special, you got 10 eps there. That's great. That's awesome. That's a full series. Because I saw on Reddit, when they posted the trailer, of course the trailer says Doctor Who Series 1 teaser trailer, and there's people that are commenting, they're like, I have never watched Doctor Who before, but I just watched that because it was Series 1. I'm going to watch that. Like, they have fucking nailed how to bring people into this show, because... Like, I'm intrigued to know how the next episode starts. Like, I don't know if they'll retread any of this, or if it'll be straight into the action, ignore that. But no matter what, I think this is episode 1 of the era, because there's so much arc setup and stuff like that it's a bit of a shame that they've not labeled it right. Hopefully they just kind of slot it into Series 1 when it starts being broadcast. But it was really cool. Like, I saw comments that were like, I've only ever watched Sex Education. Love that guy. I'm going to watch this. I'm like... Oh,
good. That's cool.
Awesome.
Sick. Just don't buy all the mercance when it comes out, so we can get it.
Let us buy the fucking screwdriver. I
also think...
Yeah, sorry. I did like that there was a moment where he said screwdriver, and someone's like, that's not a fucking screwdriver. I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was the cop as well, which made it even more funny. It's like this random cop's like, you saw a screwdriver?
I saw a screwdriver. Yeah, I was like, good.
I do think as well, like, as much as it would be cool if, like, the first episode next year just kind of like gets right into it. I think you still need those moments of Ruby getting used to being with the Doctor and like getting used to the TARDIS and trying to like climatize herself to like this new way of life in a way. I think that those moments would still be good. But I do genuinely think they had like pretty much made this episode being around the whole premise of like, we're starting fresh, reboot, Series 1, let's just have something that kind of involves a lot of aspects but isn't too confusing for people as well, even though it can be at some points. But I think, I think like they're definitely, like, it was noticeable for me here more than in any of the specials or anywhere else, that like it's 100% like they want to just rebrand the show and reboot it and sort of just push it forward to like a whole new era of like fans, you know? Which is cool. But
it's very cool. But yeah, I think fans are about to experience a few different story arcs. I guess the main one is, who is Mummy? Who is Ruby Mummy?
Is that the old lady?
Well, that's, I guess, conjoined as well. Mrs. Flood is the next door neighbor.
Yeah.
Whether she's tied to that or is she a separate thing? Like,
Oh, you mean her actual mum?
Her actual mum.
Yeah, no, totally.
Mum,
Yeah.
well, there's kind of three potential.
That's why
There's
I was
mum,
like,
there's Mrs.
wait.
Flood, and then there's the person that leaves her there, because mum
Yeah.
doesn't have to be lady that leaves her there. That can be another character.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
I mean, because like, I've been wanting to chat about the whole thing with Mrs. Flood because when I first watched the episode, I genuinely had no other thought about her being anything but just an extra in this episode.
Yeah.
Because, like, you see her throughout, and like, I noticed something different on the second watch, but like, on my first watch, I was like, when she says, "What, have you never seen that before?" or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's fun.
"Oh, that's cute." It's just like a fun thing for the audience. Like, that's the audience in the episode, like, kind of being like, "Oh, it's a TARDIS, blah blah blah."
Yeah.
I did not think anything past that.
Totally.
Didn't think she was going to be a villain or a big thing. But watching it again, the thing that was different for me was that throughout the whole episode, she's like, "What's this police box?" She has a reaction when it fades away on the street. Like, she's a human being seeing this for the first time. When she says to the doctor, I think she wishes him like all the best or something before he goes into the police box. After he does that, like she's standing on the street when she says that. After he does that, and then when Ruby comes out, she's sitting in her chair and her whole posture is just a little bit different.
Totally.
And her face is a lot more serious. And like she's still a very like soft-spoken person. She's calm about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, there was
She's like confident now.
there was like an attitude change there where I was kind of like, no, what's going on? And like I've seen people think that she's the Rani.
Yeah. It's all the usuals.
Yeah. I saw someone say, you know, she could be a future version of Ruby, but then it's like, but then why would she freak out at the TARDIS?
Totally.
Like,
yeah.
You know, all that sort of stuff. Like, it's really odd.
It's strange. Like,
Yeah.
my boring answer is that, like, I old Ruby, or like my it doesn't really make sense. Like, it's another regeneration of Susan, of his granddaughter, kind of thing. But then she is also mum. Like,
yeah, right.
So then, because the thing that would be really sweet and fun in the reboot is that if the Doctor is technically traveling with his great granddaughter, which would mean they basically rebooted season 1 where he's traveling with his granddaughter. So they kind of they tie her in, but also I hate when it's all the chosen one and, you know, that kind of perfectly tied into. Like, it would be more awesome if there's a story where her mum's in space and she fucks an alien and she's like, I don't want the baby, and like there's a cool story to be had that isn't about her and the Doctor and stuff. It's
totally,
like it's a totally separate thing, but it's a cool mystery.
Absolutely.
But I'm like 99% sure that Ruby's dropping the baby off, right? Like, that's probably like that.
So you think it's her giving herself up,
and
for
it's going to be
adoption?
a sad thing if she has to make it happen, kind of thing.
That'd be kind of cool.
That's what I assume.
Because I'd be excited for that purely because I know like the acting chops in that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I know that would be such like a dark and twisted moment that would really play off well if they do it right.
Yeah.
Like, because like I think there's definitely something there with Ruby because like obviously when she gets the call saying that there was no like data on like a mum or a dad and like it doesn't happen often, but it does happen. I think that is, I mean, I never jumped to anything. I never like, because even at the very end with the old lady, I was like, that's no one.
Yeah.
Like, I am still 95% sure going forward that could be fucking nothing, and they will never see her again. But obviously, given the show, there's always a chance, and I think that with Ruby, there's more of a chance of there being something up.
Yeah.
Just because there was so much of a mystery around the mum, like you never see her face, you never see nothing. All you saw was a pair of boots, and people thought it was Jodie. Get a grip. And yeah, I don't know. I do think there's something there. It's just like I want it to be something creative and not something we've seen before, because I feel like we've gotten that whole like, this was a trap for the Doctor, or you know, like just something like that. Like, so I think bottom line, I think there's something there. Let's just hope it's something cool.
Make it cool. Make it unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun that it's a kind of soft arc, like a soft mystery.
Yeah.
It's not that it's not exciting. Like unless it's
like
big
enough
reveal.
to keep you engaged. You know?
Yeah, like unless it's a huge reveal of who it is, it's kind of like, oh, I just want to know, and that'll be exciting when I do. It's not
for sure.
The world's going to end next week. It's like, okay, it's fine, Russell.
The Doctor's name is being revealed.
Never did it. Nah, never did. Name of the Doctor? No. Just nothing about that.
Name of the no one.
Name of the no one. They're all terrible writers. But that's kind of the main episode. Do you have any other points on it?
Just the abundance of shots where the TARDIS is fading away.
Yep, they really listened to you, didn't they?
They really listened to me. Didn't have to do it that much, but that's okay.
Yeah, they need that fog. Where the fuck's the fog? You need some smoke going on.
Yeah, I know. I did really enjoy, so just from like a visual point of view, I really, really enjoyed the very last shot of the TARDIS being like on the edge of the sidewalk and on the road.
Yeah.
I think like all the lighting around that time of day was like fucking awesome. And like the lighting coming from like the windows and the lantern was sick. And it, like just this show as a whole now, I think has just gone up a level in like how it looks. I'm very excited to see what happens going forward.
I'll say that they need to work out how to shoot certain things. Because I think direction-wise... Because visually, it's like, it's so fucking heightened. Yeah. But I think direction-wise, they've messed up a few things. Like, for the two big ones that stand out across the specials is in the giggle, there is no geography to the throwing the ball thing. It's kind of just these weird tight shots of people catching... and I'm like, I don't really know what's happening here. And it's all in slow motion. And it's all terrible. And then in this one, when he pulls down the ship, I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Like... You're showing me the rope coming down, and you're showing me that, but there's no wide shot of the ship being pulled as he's doing that. It's just kind of... It just looks like he's failing to climb the ladder. There's a few things like that, and a few times where they just film characters like this.
Like the goblins when they're all dancing, and they're just these up-close shots.
I'm inside their brain, man. So, there's some, look, it's prestige television loves to do it, and I think they're trying to ape that of just these tight close-ups and stuff. But the show doesn't need that. It needs some wide. It needs to show what the action's doing.
I think more so in the giggle. I think the choice there was more so because none of them could catch a fucking ball. Totally. So it was like because I know that watching like the behind the scenes stuff, I think it was Shooty was saying like none of us could catch a ball. So we had to already just have the ball in our hand and be like, and like act as though like it was caught, you know?
Totally. Yeah.
So like I feel like like maybe in that one it was more of like a choice of like, well, we have to still make it look good without
just CG the ball, man.
But I do think that in this episode though, like there was shots like when he's on the roof of the church, and he's pulling it down, like a massive wide shot would have been sick.
Yeah, totally.
Because that would have been cool. I also just very quickly, the monologue he gives at the very start of the episode. That whole scene was fucking sick for me. I loved that. Yeah. Because just having like that very like mood lit church in the snow, and there was like that very faint song in the background of like a, I think it was like what's the name of the song? I don't know, but it's
there was one.
It's a Christmassy song, but anyway, it's the one from Home Alone.
Yeah.
That's it. It's in there. But I just thought that whole scene was really good. It gave it a very cool like mystical kind of vibe, which was nice. And so
chronologically, how does it? So he goes back there twice. Like, were we seeing the end of the episode? I guess.
I think we were just seeing the end of the episode at the start. Yep. I think it was just like, because it's like what they do in I'm trying to think where they do it, but like there was something else recently that I either played or I watched or whatever, where it's like they show you a little bit of something, and then it's like 2 years earlier. And then by the time you get to the end of this thing, it's like you meet up with that first shot and you're like, oh, okay, that's...
It's every Uncharted game does it.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, totally. I think they very cleverly cut it, because I was like, I forgot that she does place the baby, then they steal the baby, and then he puts it back. But I was like... In the intro, they just show her placing it, and they don't show the ship. Yeah, I think, like... I feel the same with this as I feel with all the specials, where I'm like, I love the Doctor, I love... the companion, Murray Gold, you're just the best.
So, and Shooty's theme worked really well.
It's like, good, man.
There's a very like in that scene I mentioned where where they're leaving the club and the thing's about to fall. as Judy starts marching towards it, his theme like swells up a little bit, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
It's so sick, man.
It's good.
I'm just refreshing Spotify daily. I'm like, drop the specials soundtrack.
Drop the whole thing.
Come on, man.
Absolutely.
Love it. I love all that. It's just all these specials have come down to the writing for me, where it just falls just a little flat. And I think this one, unfortunately, watching it close to like A Christmas Carol and Husbands of River Song, where it's just note perfect, all those moments.
For sure. Yeah.
It just shines through. And I mean, look, I don't think any of Russell's Christmas specials are very good. So maybe it's just that. Maybe he can't write specials.
So what you're saying is that these specials need Matt Smith.
That's
true.
They'll
be great.
Then they'll be fine. And Stephen Moffat. And every person that worked on his era. I would love it more. The thing I don't love is we got the trailer. It looks very fun. Like, it looks fast.
It's just like shots, though. It's not... Yeah.
They still don't... Yeah, they're still not cutting trailers, are they?
No.
They're still not nailing how those work. But yeah, the Beatles thing, I hope it's good. I just... From the one scene... Well, the one frame of them all I've seen, I just hate everything in shot. All of it hurts my Beatles heart. It's all so wrong. None of them look like a Beatle. It looks like Russell saw that AI art thing that was going around and went, I'll cast it based on them.
Oh, no.
I hate that. All their instruments are strung too low, so they're all holding their like guitars like modern musicians do.
Right,
They had them like really
like
tight.
Up here,
which was very specific. And then the biggest criminal thing is that in Abbey Road Studios, which is where it's set, the sound recording booth is upstairs, and in that shot, it pulls out and you can see people mixing, and there was no mixing station at ground level. It was upstairs in Studio 2. So I'm just very not sure, like, if you're going to do Beatles, it's one of the few, kind of, especially being a modern day thing, you can nail this one. It's not like... Unicorn and the Wasp, it's like, who gives a fuck? Agatha Christie looks like that and lived in a house. Sure. It's like, there's...
What if it's an episode where all the Beatles turn out to be like the lizard people of the Earth or something?
I'm down for it to be stupid.
Yeah.
I'm all down for that, but like...
for sure.
It just... Because I knew it was coming, because I think there'd been rumoured for a while there was going to be a Beatles ep. So the fact they showed us Annie, I was like, oh.
That's so funny.
But I'm excited to see what they do. I think that will be the episode with... I can't remember their name, but the drag queen that's on the cast. I think that will probably be her episode. Given I think she's being revealed as like the queen of music or something or other in the show.
Oh, okay.
So I assume it all ties into that one. That's the other thing. There's only 8 episodes. They're dropping in May. There's only 8. It's a little shorter than usual.
So are all the episodes going to be around an hour like this was?
I don't know. Maybe 50. I feel like they've definitely said they're a bit longer.
If they're minimum 50 minutes, I'll take it. But, like, I love a good, like, hour ep, especially when there's not many episodes in a series.
Yep.
Especially when it's a series I love. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah. Give us more.
Just give me... Yeah.
I will say it's so funny, and again, I love you, Doctor Who nerds. Thank you for watching our spoiler cast, but you're all so irritating. Just seeing people on Twitter being like, oh, it's not back to May. I'm like, yeah, you got 2 episodes of Jodie over the course of like 3 years. At least Russell is making Doctor Who. Like, you're only waiting 5 months for a whole new season. Like, calm down, it's fine. And their complaint is, but they're already filming season 2. I'm like, so that they can keep releasing them consistently.
Yeah, they're doing that because you keep whinging.
Yeah, you whingers.
Yeah.
Look, I know it's not all of you, but so much of Twitter, bloody Twitter, you just frustrate me. Just calm down.
It's just
calm down.
Yeah, you guys just jump on board of things very, very quickly, and it's like, just think for a second.
Not everyone is Mother.
No.
Not everyone.
Not everyone is Martha.
Not everyone is Martha.
Yeah.
Leave it. I am excited to see more of Rose. That was a nice little moment. I'm glad that they popped it in there.
Sweet.
I'm intrigued to know what that means. Like, Donna, Tennant, what are we doing there? What's going to happen?
Well, actually, the thing that was... Sorry, we've already spoken about this for way too fucking long. But the thing that was interesting for me was that there was... like the promo stills that were released, I think this week or last week, and there was a new shot of 14.
No, someone was being shitty. That was a shot from the giggle, and they've just put it in. Again, bloody Twitter.
Yeah.
They were being cheeky.
Because, like, I didn't care that it was in the episode, but I was like,
where is he?
Where was that little bit?
Yeah. People were being cheeky. Yeah, that's kind of it. My one wish for the new season, apart from good writing, is that they do something new with the titles. Like, if these titles are the specials titles, that's fine. Yeah. But I hope that Shooty gets at least a flourish or something new to them.
Yeah, just something new.
When they started, I was like, oh, like these to me are the these are Tenet titles now. Yeah. And it's sad that he inherited that as well as kind of the Control Room. Like, it's a bit sad that he doesn't get all new stuff. So I hope they do a little bit new to them for the new season.
Absolutely. I was keen for some new like titles, and then when I saw that it was just the same ones, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. The theme though, the whispering's grown on me. I still don't love it, but I think hearing it enough times, it's more subtle.
It's just like so like in your face in the end titles though.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning, it's there, but you barely notice it. But in the fucking,
it's so weird. Someone's fucking overweight and out of breath in the titles. It's like, just chill out, bro.
It's like someone just hitting a keyboard.
Yeah.
With like 4 or 5 keys at once.
Yeah. It's strange. I still don't like it, Murray, but I'm getting used to it.
So funny.
That's it. That's Doctor Who. Until May, we'll be back, I'm sure.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm keen. Hopefully they are long. I don't know. I think they are longer than usual being shorter season. But
okay. Yeah, cool.
But yeah, long live Shooty. What a fucking
long live
hero.
Shooty. Can't wait for his action figure. Oh man!
Like, yeah, every time I think he also we've got to fucking end this. His costumes being not just tweed and suits and stuff. They are higher quality because they're actual clothes, and so my brain is like, that's a toy. Like, an action figure can mimic that better than it can like soft tweed and shit. I'm like, they could nail that.
Figure can do that.
It's Disney. Come on, buddy.
Come on, guys.
Let's do it.
1/6 scale Doctor Who. Let's do it.
Let's do it. We'll buy all of them. And bye-bye all of you.
Bye-bye.
I've been Will.
And I've been Sam. Should we leave dancing like the goblins and then you can overlay the song?
Oh, yeah? I think. Oh, yeah, that's right. They were just doing that.
That's it.